Greetings and salutations, good friends. Today is the day I need to talk about something. And it may come off as a bit of a rant, but damn it, it has to be done. Another voice needs to be heard. Recap. Not too long ago, a man by the name of James Rolfe, aka the Angry Video Game Nerd, released a video saying that he will not see the new Ghostbusters movie. Since then, he has apparently been attacked and met with a lot of flack about it, primarily being called anti-feminist. And before I go any further, honestly, I believe in equality of all people. I believe that anyone can do anything regardless of their race, their religion, their financial status, but most importantly, their sex. I believe that if a man can do it, a woman can do it, and if a woman can do it, a man can do it. With the exception of bearing children. It's kind of hard for a guy to do it, Junior. So when I hear that people are doing this, I get incredibly surprised because guess what? I support him. Not only do I support him, but I agree with him because I've been on the fence about whether or not I want to see this new Ghostbusters movie for a while because every trailer I've seen looks like crap. This movie looks terrible. The dialogue looks stupid. It looks like just recycled stuff. The effects look bad. They just look bad. They don't look creative. They don't look new. That's the best way of saying it. They do not look new. They look like recycled effects from other ghost-like movies. They look like James said, they look like effects from the live-action Scooby-Doo movie. And they really do. So, and when I heard that, or rather read, that people are getting upset about this, I rewatched his video, and then I rewatched the video about his history of Ghostbusters 3, and not once, anywhere there, does he mention that he doesn't like the fact that the cast is all women. If anything, he doesn't like the fact that people are mentioning how they're going to differentiate this movie from the original movies as this is the female Ghostbusters and this is the other one. Even just calling it Ghostbusters 2016 is still bad, and I agree. So, it's incredible, honestly, the amount of anger that this whole thing has produced, myself included. Because, I mean, when I saw the trailers, I just decided, no. But then I stopped, thought, well, okay, it could just be a fanboy who doesn't want to see it because it's someone trying to redo something from my childhood that I really loved. So I'm like, okay, that could be it. Could it be because of the cast being all females? No. When I first heard about it years ago that this is what was going to happen, it was going to be a reboot/remake. Just flat out, this is a remake. This isn't a reboot, this is a remake. A reboot does suggest, however, that they do intend on making more. That's the difference. The only difference I've ever personally come across. Do I want to look it up on some kind of dictionary, like Urban Dictionary or something? No. This is just me seeing what I see. And a reboot just means they intend on making more. So that's what they're clearly trying to do here. So when I heard that they were going to remake this movie with all female cast, at first I was surprised. I mean, why wouldn't I be? The original movie had all guys, so yeah, kind of surprising that they would go all women. But then that was my reaction. My response was, okay. I mean, sure, why not? Paul Feig, okay, he's done good stuff. He's done good stuff with primarily female cast. Like The Heat. The Heat was good. I like The Heat. Spy is a lot of fun. It's goofy, but it's a lot of fun. And I can't remember if he produced or directed Bridesmaids, but that one was fun too. He clearly has an affinity for doing all women cast for one reason or another. I don't know why. I also don't care because he does it well when he wants to. So when I see this trailer, when I see every footage for this movie and none of it looks good, I get very confused. But at the same time, whether I'm confused or not is irrelevant. All I know is I'm also not going to go see it. I'm not. And it's not because of the cast. Because guess what? Kristen Wiig is fun. Melissa McCarthy is fun. And unfortunately, I don't know anything about the other two, Kate McKinnon and Leslie Jones. I don't know anything about them because apparently they're on the new seasons of SNL, and I gave up on SNL a long time ago. But I guess if they're from it, and they look like they're going to be pretty funny, maybe I should retry it. Hell, if anything, this might make me want to watch SNL more now, which is kind of weird. I mean, I'm 30, so I grew up when there was people like, Adam Sandler, David Spade, Chris Farley, and Phil Hartman were on it. Kevin Nealon, Shannon Doherty? Yeah, Shannon Doherty, Sherry O'Terry, all of them were on it. And after a while, I stopped caring because it just started getting lame and annoying. And I've watched some of the older stuff with Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy and all of them on it, and that was funny too. So when I find out about this movie, it's like, okay, but then I see the trailers, and it's just lame and boring, and I got a chuckle out of me every now and then, but it's kind of but that's it. But then again, like I said, maybe it was just because, fanboy and all. Maybe that's it. So I asked my fiance, who's a female. You have to preface it these things these days. And I know that she really liked the old movies, at least the first one for sure. And I showed her the trailer, and she didn't like it neither. Between the two of us, I'm the nerd. I am the honking nerd. You see. And she didn't like it. So what does that tell you, people? Now, I know most of the people I'm seeing right now, I've decided to look for a few videos, and I'm seeing a lot more people supporting James than anything, which is weird. I mean, I'm really trying not to see any more YouTube videos because it's really just angering me more, and that's primarily what this is coming out of right now. I mean, I wanted to do this for a while, but now I just had to do it. It seems like most of the anger is coming out of Twitter and all this other stuff, which is it's kind of a reason why I don't go on Twitter. I've never gone on Twitter. I do not have a Twitter account, nor do I care to have a Twitter account. I gave up on Facebook a long time ago, mostly because I mean, it's fun to go on something like that to see how your friends are doing, but going on it all the time, just no. So I don't see any of this stuff. I hear about it from YouTubers and stuff, but that's it. So all I know is I'm essentially going to be doing the same thing. I'm not going to see a midnight showing or the 7 p.m. showing as they are now. I'm not going to see it opening day. At most, maybe a couple of months. And that's if I really, really just want to see it. But even then, I'll probably just end up waiting until it gets to the cheap seats. Because I will admit, seeing something like this does need to be seen on a bigger screen. I mean, you can see it on a big screen at home, and that if you got a good enough screen, you're close enough to it, that could be good enough. But me, seeing something like this is worth seeing in a big theater, whether it's good or bad. But the amount of money you spend is the question. Now me, I ain't dropping $10 to see a movie like this if I'm pretty sure it's gonna suck. And it looks like it will, which is unfortunate, because from what I hear, Kate McKinnon and Leslie Jones are really funny, and I think Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy are really funny. And I will admit, when I first saw the trailers, my first reaction was, oh, great. Kristen Wiig, Melissa McCarthy, they just do their thing, it's not going to be anything new. But then, you stop and think about it. You watch those old movies, and you see Bill Murray just being Bill Murray. You see Dan Aykroyd just being another version of Dan Aykroyd. So, there you go. And as far as the whole racism thing with the Leslie Jones character, I see nothing wrong with it. I really don't. Primarily because I know that there are people out there who act like that. She's supposed to be the every woman, where Ernie Hudson was supposed to be the everyman, because the other characters are all scientists. And then in both versions, the token black person is the every person, which is fine. I have no problem with that. If anything, it's almost like if they didn't have the token black person, it would almost be more racist to not. So it's kind of like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. And she was a lot to take at first, because I didn't know what to expect. But then I watched the trailer again a few days later, let it sink in, and it's really, really not that bad. And I think that comes down to the issue that this whole thing has stirred up. People are going off of their reactions and not their responses. There is a difference here, people. A reaction is pretty much what you see. You know, track down the Angry Joe trailer reaction to Batman vs. Superman trailer 2. Seeing his reaction to when Doomsday shows up. That's a reaction. A response, it happens later when you really stop and think about it. Now, granted, it didn't change for him at all, but that's because he was is a major fanboy for Superman, and with good reason. And I kind of agreed. The Doomsday character was not something that needed to be brought in. So for something like this, a reaction is not what's needed right now. A response is. And I'm doing my best right now to give you a response. So at the end of it all, the movie looks stupid. The cast looks like fun, except for Chris Hemsworth. I'm still on the fence about some of his bits in the trailers. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see, I guess. But all in all, these trailers that are designed to get people interested in the movie didn't do it for me. It's because the effects don't look good, the dialogue doesn't sound good, and that's pretty much it. The fact that the cast is all women has no bearing on my opinion. If anything, it just says, okay, something new, something different. Sometimes remakes can bring something new to the table that wasn't there before for one reason or another. Like if they wanted to change how a character looked or something like that. You know, sometimes they couldn't do it in the original version due to budget. Like back in the 80s, I mean, they had a good budget for those movies for sure. But, you know, I imagine there were still probably limitations that nowadays they could probably do a lot better. I'm not saying they will, because from what I'm seeing, they ain't gonna. I mean, I saw in a more recent trailer that they're actually bringing in Stay Puft, like this weird Burton Marshmallow version, which is a horrible decision. Just completely. I mean, if you wanted to have a big monster in it, I mean, no matter what, you have a big monster in it, people are going to think that's just your version of Stay Puft. That's just going to happen. If you're going to have a Ghostbusters movie, that's going to happen. So I guess now that during my rant here, I think about it, if they're just going to think it's going to be a Stay Puft, may as well just have a Stay Puft. But then why have a large monster in the beginning in it anyway, I guess. So I guess you have to have the big boss at the end of the movie. So I don't know. All I know is my excitement about a third Ghostbusters movie died a long time ago. When I got the game for the 360, that's the version I played, that is more than enough for me. Because, I mean, you get the whole cast doing their voices, doing a good job, too. Bill Murray seemed almost like he kind of phoned it in, but he was still Bill Murray. So, therefore, he was still funny. I personally like Bill Murray in just about everything he's done. Yes, I liked The Man Who Knew Too Little. Yes, I liked Garfield, but only because Bill Murray was in it. And even then, I still don't really like it. But if it's on TV, for example, I'll turn it on because it's a Garfield scene. If it's not, it's that John character, click, off. But yeah, the video game is a lot of fun. So if you want a third Ghostbusters movie, just go play that. You won't regret it at all. Nowadays, you can get a 360 or a PS3 for decently cheap, especially with Xbox One and PS4 out. You can find them for pretty cheap, so I highly recommend it. And especially the biggest factor is you get to play as a fifth one, a character who doesn't speak. They just call him the Rookie, and they're pretty androgynous. You could call it a guy or a girl. I'm pretty sure they reference to the character as being a guy, but that's irrelevant. You get to be a fifth Ghostbuster, so that alone is like, yeah. So as far as this movie goes, I'm in no rush. If I hear from a lot of people who really enjoyed the original movies, particularly the first one, that it was a good movie, then okay, then I'll see it. Because that's something that some people just almost don't want to acknowledge the possibility that this movie could be good and the trailer is just shit. It is incredibly possible. But I will say more often than not, trailers, especially these days, they are a good indicator. Like Captain America Civil War. Every trailer was freaking awesome. I watched a couple of them a few times in a row. And then, watched Civil War, and it was really, really good. Zemo's plan got a little confusing. Like I saw with my fiance in the theater, and I had to be the one to translate a few things here. Who's that person? Oh, that's them. They have this relationship. What was Zemo's plan? Well, he kind of confusing, but I'm not getting into that any more than I already have. So this movie, if anything, at the moment, it just makes me sad, but it makes me angry that people are getting upset and for one, it makes me angry that people are just jumping down James's throat about how he's being a sexist person for not wanting to see this new movie, even though in the videos he makes no mention of the fact that he doesn't like it because the cast is female. Like me, I don't care about the fact that they're female. They can be male or female. The fact that they're female just adds something new. That's it. If I get a free ticket to go see a movie, then yeah, I'll go see it if I don't have to spend any money. But then again, at the same time, it's still putting money into that slot, I guess. When they categorize like how much money was spent for a movie, then I guess that gets kind of into account. So you see, it's kind of dicey. But all I know is I may just flat out not see it in support of James. But like I said, if it turns out it was really good, then I'll do my best to be among the first to say, I'm sorry, I apologize, turns out it was really good. But I'm not expecting it to be. My hopes are low. My expectations are low. I saw a video by a gentleman by the name of Mundane Matt, and he said this movie is not going to, there's a strong chance this movie, not word for word, he didn't say these words, but he did say, will not meet expectations. It will for me, though, because my expectations are low. I mean, like, down here, man, like, we're talking floor. Like, it's got, I will say this, if it doesn't have any of the special effects sounds, because I mean, even the game had the sounds, if it doesn't, that's gonna be a big X mark right there. Like, check, really don't like that part. But that's me. If you go into it knowing it's going to be bad, or rather really, really, really feeling that it's going to be bad, I don't know. I just think there's better ways of wasting money. But that's just me. But then again, if you really want to see it in the big theaters, like the really, 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 really good theaters, I'll just do what I did for Transformers 3. Spend money for a different movie. Like for that movie, I gave money to Super 8. And then I went into that movie with a friend. And I am so glad I did that. That movie was stupid beyond all reason. Because the second movie suckered me into getting my money. And that will never let that happen again. So if Ghostbusters turns out to be decent, I'll still spend money for a different movie and then go into that. So that's all I have to say on that. Until then, take care of yourselves. Do your best to stay calm. Because this could very well be a very trying time for everyone, for patience. Fanboys too. I mean, do your best, guys. I did mine. We'll see. Until then, find the right button there. There we go. Until then, take care. And, I don't know. Go for a walk. Get some air. Need to... I'm going to do that right now. All right.